Okay, you guys all picked Senate Bill 5258, right? Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, this is the bill regarding the Washington Academic Innovation and Mentoring Program. So I thought at first we'd start, I want a couple of you to tell me why you picked this bill.
And this is Hannah.
Hi, Hannah. How many Hannahs are there? Are there like five?
Just one this year.
Just one this year. Good.
Because it seemed to help the most because the dog bill seemed to have like a good purpose, but it was flawed because you couldn't see how much like time the dog was really there. And the other two are kind of just like it might help, but it kind of won't. So it's pointless. Yeah. Okay.
Okay, and then one more person. Tell me why you liked this bill and picked it.
This is Riley.
Hi, Riley.
Well, I picked for the humane of dogs because I'm an animal lover myself, and if we save the animals, it might help extinction. Because sometimes the trees can choke the dogs.
Okay, but you guys didn't pick the dog bill, right?
No, we just want to hear reasons why the majority of the club went for the AIM bill. Is there someone that could also express their opinion about why we chose the AIM bill? Yeah. Hannah spoke to it. Can anyone else speak to it? Why we chose it? Go ahead, Ian. I mean, Matthew. Sorry.
I think the rest are kind of pointless because.
Can you hear Matthew?
I cannot hear Matthew.
The rest are kind of pointless.
The rest were kind of pointless, he said.
Oh, okay. Okay, so this one was the best one. And I just thought we'd start by going over the bill a little bit. It is sponsored by Representative Hans Zeiger. He is one of the younger legislators in the legislature, and he chairs the Senate Committee on Education. So this bill will go to the committee that he chairs, or it has gone to the committee he chairs. I wasn't sure if you guys were aware of the background on this, but the AIM program has already been operating.
Yes.
So there's been $250,000 last year allocated to this program. That's a lot of money, right? $250,000 is allocated to this program, and it allowed the Boys and Girls Club to do a program, a summer program in Bellevue, Mount Vernon, Tacoma, Spokane, and Vancouver. So in all 5 of those cities, they had a summer program. The bill would say those 5 programs worked great. They were wonderful. They helped students have the tools that they need over the summer to continue learning. And so they want to expand it to 50 different communities. So it would go from 5 to 50 under the bill. And the idea is that Boys and Girls Club has been doing the program now in those 5 cities. Boys and Girls Club uses the money that they get under the program to bring a teacher into the Boys and Girls Club summer program to teach reading and career exploration and science, technology, engineering, and mathematics to anyone who is 6 to 18 years old. The idea is that, have you guys ever heard of summer slide?
No.
No. So, okay, so you know how when you go on summer break and you forget like everything that you'd learned? Yes, I'm seeing nods. Yeah. So they've done these studies about summer break, and they found that kids that don't come from families that are able to afford summer activities, that they actually forget about 2.5 months of what they learned the previous year. So it's like they didn't even go to school for 2.5 months. They forgot it all over the summer. And that's called the summer slide because they slide backwards in their learning. So instead, this program is called the Summer Boost Program. And the idea is that rather than sliding back 2.5 months, that with these programs through the Boys and Girls Club, that they actually move forward and advance 2.5 months. And in the 5 cities where they did this last summer, they saw that not only did they advance forward 2.5 months, they advanced forward 3 months. So that's very good. The program is working. And what the bill would do is take it from being in those 5 cities to being in 50 different cities. So the other thing is that the bill right now would only allow this program to be through the Boys and Girls Club. But there are lots of other types of programs that can be used to do this program. And that's going to be important when we start talking about amendments to the bill. Okay, so the bill was heard in the Senate Education Committee, and the good news is that no one testified against the bill. So that's great. The bad news is this bill is kind of expensive. They spent $250,000 in 5 communities. To take it to 50 communities, they need $2.5 million. That is a lot of money, and the state has a lot of other obligations that it is trying to fund right now, including your school funding, your classroom funding for the rest of the year, let alone during the school funding or during the summer. So that's the hardest part about this bill, is that it's going to cost money. But it was a very good hearing. It was the same week that you guys picked the bill. And the Boys and Girls Club had 5 people there testifying in support. Tacoma Public Schools testified in support. A student from Graham High School testified in support, and a program called Schools Out Washington testified in support. So a lot of good support was expressed at the hearing. And the one thing that was mentioned by many stakeholders that testified, they said they would like to see an amendment to the bill that would allow more than just the Boys and Girls Club to do this. So if you're going to go from 5 to 50, that not all 50 locations be through the Boys and Girls Club, but that other types of programs like Schools Out Washington could be included in the bill. And there seemed to be a lot of support from the committee members from that amendment. But I'm curious to what you think. Do you think the amendment is a good idea or not? They have not yet voted on the amendment. But again, the idea is that Boys and Girls Club right now provides the program. And the amendment would say not just Boys and Girls Club, but also any type of similar organization can provide the program. So what do you think about the amendment idea? In the back, white shirt.
Haley, yes.
I think the amendment is a good idea because there are a lot of people who don't go to Boys and Girls Club, so they won't get that chance if they're not there. But if it's in other places than just Boys and Girls Club, they'll have the chance.
Okay. And in the front, in the red?
I agree with, my name's Derek, and I agree with Haley because I go to Boys and Girls Club, and there are a lot of kids there, but they're not like everyone. So, and there's a lot of kids that don't go to Boys and Girls Club that stay home or either go somewhere else that doesn't have this kind of need that they need, kind of.
Okay, does anyone not like the amendment? Anyone think it's a bad idea? Is that Matthew?
Yeah. I don't think it's as good because we're spending all this money on after school things when we don't even have fully funded education.
Well, that's a good point. That doesn't really talk about the amendment specifically. That talks about how expensive this is. So like I said, right now it costs $250,000 to do 5, and it's going to cost the state $2.5 million to go to 50 different cities. So that, I think, is part of the bill regardless of whether they do the amendment. Are there other ideas about the amendment? Should we support it? Should we do a raise of hands? How many of you think we should support the amendment?
Almost unanimous.
Almost, okay, so that looks like we should, and so only a couple think we shouldn't. Why don't those that think we should not support it raise your hand? Okay. So it looks like I will share with the committee members that you guys support the amendment. Now, what you guys can do for me is that, so the Senate bill has now had a public hearing in the committee, but they haven't voted on the bill yet. So I'd like this next week for you guys to email the members of the committee and tell them to vote the bill out of committee. It has to pass out of the committee with support from the committee members by February 17th. So if I send you guys the email addresses, can you email the committee members and ask them to pass the bill out?
But we don't have email. No, teacher. Okay.
You can do it through your home email, kids. I can help you. If you don't have if your parents don't have an email, then I can help you.
The other thing you can do if you don't have email is if you wanted to even handwrite it and give it to your teacher, and your teacher can you scan and send it to me?
Well, I feel like all have
Yeah? Yeah?
What's that?
we all have emails or school emails.
We have school emails.
Yeah, it just ends with VSD405.
Yeah, that's right.
So
Mhm.
So does someone want to take a stab at what they would put in, tell me what you think you would put in an email if you were to write it? Someone want to tell me what you would want to tell the committee members? In the way? Haley?
Maybe you should vote you should vote the amendment because blank.
Yes, yeah. You should pass the bill with the amendment because, and then you would mention all the reasons you told me that it's a good bill because it's helping students, right? And it helps with the summer, during the summer when students forget what they learned. Are there other ideas?
Come on, think, kids. Other ideas? It helps students learn. Good, Riley.
It helps students with an education without much education because it's a kind of like a summer program after school, and it might help them remember more of what they learned for next year.
That's excellent. That's exactly what you want to include in your email. Okay, so I will send the email addresses, and if you either want to handwrite it and give it to your teacher or send an email to the committee members, then we can encourage the committee to pass the bill out. Now, it has to pass out of committee by February 17th. If it doesn't pass, then our bill it'll be dead. It won't pass this session. So we really have to work hard to encourage these committee members to pass the bill. Matthew.
How many kids were in this program last year?
I couldn't hear your
How
question.
many kids were in the program?
How many kids were in this program last year?
Oh, that's a good question. Let me see if I know that. I know that there were 5 cities, or 5 different areas, but I don't think I know how many students were in there. That's a great question.
So what were the areas?
The areas were Bellevue, which is just right where you guys are, Mount Vernon, which is up north of you, Tacoma, which is down south of you, Spokane, which is east and Vancouver, which is almost to Oregon.
I'm wondering if the schools in these areas also offer some sort of summer school program that the kids could enroll in. I know Bellevue does.
Well, and that's a great point, because the money that's allocated in the grant program to provide this programming right now could not be received by the school. It can only be received by a Boys and Girls Club, or if we do the amendment, a similar organization. The school couldn't receive the money.
And did the Bellevue Boys and Girls Club, did the teacher have to be certified, or could it be anyone?
What they said at the public hearing, because the Bellevue Boys and Girls Club testified at the public hearing, what they said was that they hire teachers during the summer that otherwise teach in the school district.
Okay.
Yeah. Was there another question? I saw a hand up.
Oh yeah, what do you mean by like Bellevue Boys and Girls Club? You mean all the sites?
No,
Or just one?
I think just one, and I don't know which one in Bellevue. Riley?
There's this one I went to last year for volleyball, and it was like near the Newport Way Library. It doesn't matter because like it doesn't matter where it is. It really doesn't matter where it is. It's just some people that really need it, really need the help, need to go there.
I had a hard time hearing. So are you saying it doesn't matter where it is as long as it's helping people?
Yep.
Is that right?
Yep.
Okay. Yeah, so one thing is that in order for the students to participate in the program, that more than half of the students participating have to have free or reduced price lunch. So they have to be from families that really don't have much money. Are there other amendments that you guys think need to be made to the bill?
Fully funding education.
Fully funding education? They're working very hard to address that, yeah.
But that's a good question, I think, to ask them, Matthew, in your email.
Mm-hmm. Yes, in the front.
Could have like the kids that actually need the support have it first, then the kids that don't really need it.
So meaning give priority to free and reduced lunch kids, and then open it up to anyone?
Rather than, right now it says more than half the kids in the program have to have free or reduced lunch. You'd like it to say all?
Almost
kids?
all.
Almost all, okay. Okay, so when you email the committee members, you can mention that in your email, that you'd like to see the bill amended to do that. Haley.
I disagree with Derek because I think like maybe some of the people they're kind of like they don't like they're not poor enough to need reduced lunch, but their school doesn't give like extra like learning possibilities. Or I mean not possibilities, like extra learning options. So maybe they need that help.
So you don't like that idea. You think that just more than half is a good place the way the bill is written now? Yeah. Okay. One other thing I wanted to talk to you all about is that, so this is just the Senate version of the bill, but we don't have a House version. And if you remember, there's the House and the Senate, and you want to have a bill going in both chambers. So my question is, do you guys want me to try and get the bill introduced in the House?
Yes, please.
Yes. And so I was thinking about who we would ask in the House, what legislator we would ask. Have any of you met with your legislators, or have any of you gone to Olympia or a town hall and met a legislator before?
No, they haven't, not this group.
No,
I've been to Olympia though.
You've been to Olympia. Fifth graders have been to Olympia. Fourth graders are going this year.
I lived in Olympia until I was 7.
Does anyone know who your legislators are? Raise your hand if you know who represents you in Olympia.
Lisa something.
Lisa Wellman?
Yeah, Lisa Wellman.
Lisa Wellman. She's your senator, Senator Lisa Wellman.
She didn't.
Who was last year?
I don't know.
Such a
So I heard Senator Lisa Wellman. Do you guys know who any of your House members are?
Nope.
No?
Like Cyrus Habib or something.
No, he's lieutenant governor.
Oh, okay.
Oh, that was good. You guys knew that. So Representative Tana Sen is your House member, and Representative Judy Cliburn. So Representative Tana Sen sits on the House Education Committee, and she has come to Civics Club in the past and met previous classrooms. So I thought we might ask her if she would like to introduce the House version of the bill. What do you guys think of that idea?
Sure.
Yay.
Love it.
That's a good idea. And then do you want her to introduce a version that looks the same as the Senate bill, or do you want her to make the amendment that we talked about so that more than Boys and Girls Club can have it, or the amendment idea of making it so it's nearly all free and reduced lunch? Haley.
I think we should do the one with the amendment about opening up to more than Boys and Girls Club.
Okay. Anyone else? Okay. Well, I will talk with Representative Sen and see if she's willing to introduce the bill. Because the bill would have to pass out of committee by February 17th, I'm not sure that it will go very far, but at least we'll have a bill in each chamber in both the House and the Senate, which will increase the likelihood that we're able to make the bill become law. Now, let's talk a little bit about how much this costs. We talked a little bit about it earlier, but it's $2.5 million to fund this program. Do you guys think that that is something the state should fund? And where do you think they should get the money to fund it?
Well, they're already getting their money from taxes.
Get more money from taxes?
We also need things for other.
Garrett.
If we spend the taxes on this, but then how much money will we have left for other things like road building and like ST3 is in progress right now.
What's ST3? It's the something.
Or like other things that we need to pay for, like emergencies, like something might happen and we need to pay for it.
Yeah, that's a good question. The legislature is trying to figure out how much money to spend on what. And I think they'll ask themselves with this bill, should they spend the money on this program, or should they spend it on building roads, or for the school education funding, or there's a lot of discussion this year about mental health too. Should they spend it on mental health? Riley?
I mean, I know we picked this bill, but I'm kind of against it because it will cost a lot of money and it might come out from taxes from us. And we could just use it for like health, cancer, roads, education, for others.
So you would rather them spend money on more health issues. Is that right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
People are already researching about health issues, but they're already paying the hospital, but they need help, like insurance. Insurance, I guess. They sort of need Obamacare. If they don't have insurance for their job, which not like kind of fair.
Garrett?
Like, but I would add on to Riley, but in a different way. If some kids don't get like their education that they need, they might not get like a job that can support them to have a good life. So that's why I kind of think that we should have this bill passed, because like kids need education, and if they don't get a job that can help them, they might even die because they don't have a shelter to live in and maybe not food on the table.
Okay, that's a good comment. Hannah?
I agree with them, because if we have education, right? So if you educate someone then about a problem, that they can help the health issues later on in their life, but they need education first.
In the back with a hat?
Her name is Brooke.
Brooke.
I disagree with their problem, like maybe dying, and probably just not be as better off.
I didn't hear what Brooke said.
I disagree with Garrett for saying dying, because it's more likely that they're just gonna be not as better off.
Okay.
Not he's better off. Okay.
Okay, and then Matthew, and then I think you're the last one.
So, if they're living in poverty and then they don't have the education, then their kids won't have the education they need, and they'll be in poverty. It'll be generation to generation.
So you're saying it's just a cycle.
Yeah.
Well, you guys all have really good comments. I think just to summarize, because we need to wrap up for today, but it sounds like we're not sure still how to come up with $2.5 million to fund the program, but we think the program is a good idea. Is that right? Raise your hand if that's right. Yeah? Okay. Great. Okay, so what we need to do to keep the bill moving forward through the legislative process is I need you all for the Senate to write emails to the committee members, or write it by hand and give it to your teacher so she can get it to me and I can share it with the committee members, and ask them to pass the bill with the amendment that allows more programs than the Boys and Girls Club to participate. And then in the House, I'm going to go and ask your legislator, Representative Tana Sen, whether she would be willing to introduce a bill in the House that already would have that amendment included in it. So I think that's what we'll do for the Senate and the House. I really need you guys to write those emails if we're going to get the bill passed. I think we've got about a minute left if there are any questions about what you're supposed to do. Hannah?
I just have a question about this one bill. It's like the dog one, about like the treatment of dogs. How are you supposed to know how long the dog's been there?
I don't know that. I don't have the dog bill with me today. I just was focusing on the bill that you guys picked. In the back?
What exactly are we supposed to write?
Oh, I have it. I have the suggestions.
Okay, well, I think that's the end of our time. So I will see you guys next time, and please write emails, okay? Okay.
Bye. Thank you. Bye. Okay, that was a really great session. You know, what would really help